Hey everybody, welcome to the DeadEND channel. This is DeadEND, of course, and there was also a requested video for how to play as a combat type person. First off, it doesn't matter which character you really have. The main thing is skills and how to use it and when to use it. That's the main aspect of any player. So in this particular one, we have Asura and Qigong, or one of those two. So if you look at this Asura, since I am already, well, where is this guy? There's no combat. Why? I'm already a combat. Maybe that's why it's not there. But anyways, so skills wise, let's take a look. Cannot change right now to the other type, but let's go over the skills real quick. The first one is the Star Chaser. It unleashes a punch to an enemy from afar, dealing damage equal to a certain percent, making them slow them down. Can cast it on marked enemies for 4 seconds. So what this basically means, you're using an attack and casting a debuff on them, which will cause them to slow down. So it's for 4 seconds. And then the secondary part of that skill is that additionally reduces target's attack by 5%. So the next skill we have is the Cyclone Blast. It gathers energy to create a growing cyclone at the target location. The cyclone pulls enemies into range, slowing them and dealing damage equal to a certain percent. The cyclone creates a blast when it vanishes, dealing more damage. Well, actually less damage. But while the cyclone is active, and I believe it's around 5 seconds or 4 seconds, it is going to cause a debuff. So additionally slows targets by 15% as a secondary skill. So while this is active and it's pulling your enemy into the center of the cyclone, it's each time it's doing damage and it's inflicting a debuff. Just remember the word debuff. This skill right here is Deterrent Shock. Creates a shock wave that strikes enemies nearby and deterring them. Deterring them basically means that it's gonna stun them for like a half a second or a second, something like that. So mental deterrence lasts 1.2 seconds is the secondary skill. It may go up higher based on increase of the skill. Please ignore the background noise. So this usage would be in a situation like Star Moon Chaser, where and multiple different enemies come in to attack and you want to stun them, because once you do it excuse me, once you do it, they won't be able to deter again for the next 12 seconds. No matter, they have a couple of skills that does that. So what my recommendation is for this skill would be when you're in a multiple attack scenarios. You can actually try to use this in the Guild Wars or others, but preferably in Star Moon. You could try using Honor Tower, but then you have to wait 12 seconds before anything hits again. So it's not a very valuable skill at this point, but nonetheless it's pretty good when you have Star Moon field area type. Now this skill is Sunder Punch. I rarely ever seen use this for a Gong master, but rather this is mainly for Asura. It does pretty good damage. Excuse me one second. So it does a bunch of damage. So it unleashes a heavy strike forward, dealing damage equal to a certain percentage. Each thundering punch grants 1 stack of muscle. Unleashes splitting punch upon 2 stacks of muscle, dealing an additional damage. The aftershock of Sundering Punch of 6% reduction. That's 2 seconds. So basically this is like a buff for yourself to reduce the incoming damage. It's mainly used for Asura strikes, not Gong Master. I don't know how to pronounce Qigong, just say Gong. Alright, the next one is of course the Mantra Shield. This is a must for the Gong Master because channels Mind's power, creates a shield that covers magic damage equal to a certain percent plus 10% of max HP. The secondary of course grants you an additional 5% damage bonus. The reason this is a must is because if you go to Gong Master, this skill rank of Mantra Shield 2 requires the other skill to be maxed, or at least 5 points. This creates a shields for an additional 26% extra damage, gains 20% extra movement speed for 5 seconds. So this is like a little bit of a buff and a protection at the same time. So it is a must. And its sub skill of course grants you 10 energy per second. So while it's active, it will give you more energy, and anytime you use your skills, like this guy right here is called Genki Bomb, it requires energy. So this consumes energy and does a damage and also causes deterrent. Now the sub part of it is using when the skill costs 120 energy, targets hit will be deterred for 2 seconds. It normally starts off at 1 second. After you go to +5 skill, it becomes 2 seconds. So if your energy that you use for this skill is required only 50 points. So anytime you see 50 points of energy, you can use it, and up to 70 energy can be consumed to deal extra damage. But if you wait till 120, it will cause stun or deter for 2 seconds. So it depends on the first hits you're doing should be at 120, and the next couple of hits would be much less. So the way you use the skill is basically when you want to do maximum amount of damage on the initially, and then as your energy continues to go up 50 points or 70 points, you just continue to hit until you get it. So you do as much damage. 70 energy, you do more damage as it states, but sometimes you just want to kill them, so you would just use it at 50 energy. Now your base mastery would be in critical damage reduction of 16% at most. So although entire game I've told you in the beginning of the skill for the character it's all debuff, 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 but ultimately you are a critical damage reduction type tank / DPS. Now your skill here is Power of Mind. This is basically giving you extra energy so that initially when you start the fight you can build up more energy to do more hits. Now I set it at 6 points because to me realistically the other points are kind of a waste, because actually I really should set this at 5 instead of 6, but I might have accidentally put in extra points. The reason is because once the initial couple of burst hits comes out, it's going to be hard to build up that full max energy. So you're going to burst out whenever you see 50 points of energy or 70 points or even 120 points, just so you can stun them again and then start hitting them with everything. So I don't recommend going more than 5. And in this case I have 6, but I might reset it and respec it later. What this does of course is that your third strike normal attack weakens the target, reducing their damage by 3%. So it's sort of like a debuff on your enemy as well. So make sure you max out everything here as much as you can, except for the Power of Mind. And like always, it's optional. If you want to, you can. If not, you can redistribute the points elsewhere. Max HP, max all stats. Now for the pets wise, this is a must for pet trainer, and then I've just put 5 points here for the boost to the pets. Maxed out the damage and damage reduction for them, and then all stats it's at 38. You know, if I move that 1 point over, it'll be 39. It's not really much of a big deal at the moment, but those are the skills. in an actual combat, how you use this? Well, I set it up like this. First is the mantra shield, cyclone, the heavy hitters, and then what is that skill called? It's called Genki Bomb and Star Chaser. The reason because you want this mantra up at 100% of the time whenever you see the skill proc. This skill is always available even when you're stunned or frozen or anything. So when the timer runs out, this thing is 14-second cooldown. So once it's activated, it'll last for about 6 to 8 seconds. I'm not sure exactly, but it will go down whenever you take plenty of hits. So until the coverage is there, which is your magic attack plus 10% of max HP, you will have the shield up. And then your points, recovery points, 10% extra energy will only last as long as the shield is up. So always keep that shield up because it's going to protect you from damages. It's going to protect you from stuns and debuffs because this will still be active. And then third, this will offer you a little bit of damage boost. Plus it'll recover your energy. So it does a lot of things. So keep it up at 100% of the time. So if you're low HP, cast this and then you'll have another 100-200k HP left, basically. So you can run away, recover, come back, or just keep fighting and then try to destroy them. The way you use this skill, the Cyclone Blast, the reason I have it as the second skill is because you want the enemy close to you when you're gonna use the Genki Bomb. Otherwise, well, you can use the Genki Bomb and then put them in a cyclone, run away, or stand there and punch, or anything. The reason I use Cyclone first is because of debuff damage boost. I have a little less than 100% of debuff damage boost. So when they're in that cyclone and then I cast my Genki Bomb, it does additional damage based on how much debuff damage boost I have. So this helps increase your damage output. Then finally I have the Star Chaser, which is now gonna do something different because of this skill. Changes normal attack into a mine cannon, increases magic attack energy. So now your Star Chaser is no longer gonna punch as a close range. It's just gonna push that person back. So this second versus teleport to dealing, it doesn't apply anymore because of this skill change. Your 2 strikes of Star Chaser combine to unleash a powerful slash, dealing the same total damage and knocking the target hit back. And skills no longer trigger pursuit. So what it's telling you is that it's gonna push back the enemies. I had that as last because no matter which direction the enemy is, if I just press it, it will automatically push the enemy or enemies out of there, coming after you. This is a tactical strike, so it's also a timer based. So the cooldown is 8 seconds. So when you use it, you're basically pushing somebody away, and then either you're running away or you're basically let's just say you're doing a knockback, so it might interrupt their skill from casting. Best thing I can do, tell you how to use this combo, is once you cast the cyclone, if they get out of the cyclone, you can push them, put them back in the cyclone, and the cyclone will burst, which causes, sometimes people do try to get away from there. And if you're running away, they're chasing you, you can knock them back and then run away. Or if they're next to you, like warriors and assassins, and they're about to cast their skill, that short range skill, if you knock them away, they're not going to be able to hit you with that skill. So that's the perks of the Star Chaser being the last skill. And you can use it as a DPS, constantly cast it, but with 8 second cooldown. Or you can just wait it out and then use it in a tactical manner. So a lot of times when you see me play in my Honor Tower or League, I use that last. So I run up to you. At the starting of every game, my mantra is up. I also run up to you. Either I cast the Genki Bomb to stun you, or the Cyclone so I can trap you. If you are running after me casting a skill that'll make you jump towards me, if I hit the mantra first, it can try to capture you in it, so it'll kind of interrupt you, and then I can blast you with a Genki Bomb, which will stun you, and I can blast you a second time with a Genki Bomb, which does additional damage, and then I push you away and I run away. So it's like a guerrilla tactic, guerrilla warfare tactic, or hit and run. And by the time I finished all that, possibly my mantra shield would have gone away. But if it's still active, I'll let it recover. I just cast all the skills on you and then start punching you, because each time I punch, there's a chance that it might proc other things like my runes and stuff. So the burst, that's why I used burst damage type of fighting style for this guy. These combat gong masters, they don't usually last for the long run, but if you were to slow down, you can actually have this guy be in the long run. So whether you choose Sasura or any other character, even assassin or a warrior, learning how to use a skill and when to use a skill, it's really important, because you can't just spam skills. Then all of them will be on cooldowns or no energy, and you're just gonna stand there, do basic hits, or you're just gonna run away and then come back after. So whichever you choose, playstyle, playing with the combat, that's the most important part. Now I don't know if I have a way to demonstrate this. Let me see, give me 1 second. Okay, so I do have a way to demonstrate. Let me need to finish this first. Okay, give me a second. So one of the way I can demonstrate this is with this mode. So I'm gonna do the level 12. It's not too hard for me, so I'll show you what I mean. Now I can use the mantra right now, but I don't want to because my energy is already maxed. The mantra I'm going to use is right before the enemy starts attacking, that way they can do some damage and I can just take it. And I have increased speed, so putting them all together, pushing away, stun them. So I have to always keep your mantra up. Just push them away, trap them, stun them. Okay, stun them. See, as you can see, I'm already using them and they're at 60 points. I don't get to that 70, 80 unless if I really have to. Ooh, lag. So when you have pets, it really is a matter of how you want to use it. Always have the mantra up, as you can see, so I push back because I want that energy to keep building up. And then 120 points, you see it did 14k. This is just not as much. 50 points, that's 1300. Debuff, 120. I didn't crit, so it was already 1400 without crit. I hate that. Oh, wow, I didn't crit. no, but that's okay. So as you can see, the way I'm playstyle is basically I'm using the skills to trap them, block them with my I push them away, trap them with my cyclone, or not push them away either. Then I also use the Genki bomb to trap them, actually stun them and do damage on them. The mantra is always active. So if you like what you heard and how my playstyle is, definitely please give me a thumbs up, like, or comments. Now if you want other videos like this on how to play with Gong Master, definitely let me know. I'm willing to explore and find out. The reason I like this Gong Master the best is because of this deterrent. I wish it had a shorter cooldown time, because you have to wait 12 seconds before the guy can be stunned again, but you can still, the damage is crazy with this skill. Look at that, 399%, 491. The damage is just crazy with that skill. But nonetheless, the strategy of course is entrap them with the cyclone, push them away with the star chaser, blast them with the Genki bomb whenever you can, and then you have your mantra up to run around and protect yourself. So this makes you a little bit tanky, but of course if you read the skill, you need to have magic attack times 243% of it plus 10% HP. So if you have 50,000 magic attack, that's 243% of it, so basically like 150k roughly, plus 10% of your max HP. So if you have 1,000,000 HP, you get 100,000. So this shield will cover you for 350,000 HP basically, or damage. If somebody dishes you out 1,000,000 damage, yeah, you're screwed. But nonetheless, it's a pretty good character, crowd control type. Alright, thank you for watching the video. Have a good one. Bye bye.